This is the launching of downtown Indianapolis for 2022.
Indeed, planning and preps have been underway since Indy was awarded the bid to host the big game in 2017. College football's biggest stage brings with it the potential for $150 million in economic impact, more than 100,000 visitors descending upon downtown Indianapolis. Hello and welcome to Inside Indiana Business. I'm Gary Dick. Well, Monday night's 2022 college football playoff national championship game, it's a rematch as number 1 Alabama takes on number 3 Georgia. The Bulldogs seeking to avenge a loss to the Crimson Tide in the SEC championship game. It is the second major sporting event the city has hosted in less than a year. You may remember last spring the entirety of the Division I men's basketball tournament was played in central Indiana. Hosting big-time sporting events, Indianapolis has made it an industry and very much part of its brand. Sporting events have boosted the city's economy by billions of dollars over the past 4 decades. Take a look at the biggest sporting events just of the past decade in Indianapolis and the impact. The 3 top events: Super Bowl 2012, $176 million in economic impact. This year's college football national championship playoff game, $150 million. The 2016 NCAA men's Final Four, $125 million. With more on how the impact of this weekend will extend far beyond the playing field at Lucas Oil Stadium, pleased to welcome back to the show Visit Indy Senior Vice President Chris Gahl. Chris, welcome. I know you're at Fan Central, where the activity is heating up in downtown Indianapolis. It's here after all these years of planning. How big of an event is this for Indianapolis?
Well, it's a huge win, Gary. It's a great way to kick off 2022 from a tourism and economic standpoint. You can hear buzzing around me. I am inside the Indiana Convention Center, where a key component of this weekend, the playoff Fan Central, is located. This is where many of the 100,000 fans will descend. It's free and open to the public, and so the final touches going on right now. It's so rewarding after being awarded this game in 2017 to have all the pieces coming together, many of which were successfully put in place for the Super Bowl a decade ago, and now more recently for the March Madness and totality games. So it's very rewarding, a sense of pride from Team Indy as we get ready for this.
Yeah, so 10 years ago, doesn't seem like it's been that long ago, but obviously the Super Bowl. We aren't getting Super Bowl weather from back then, unfortunately, but I know it's going to be hot in terms of the activity downtown. Chris, economic impact, $125 million, $150 million, we talked about that. But beyond that, in terms of the attention, all the other things that go with it, how substantial is that?
Well, if you're in the business of marketing a city and driving tourism and thinking about the economics of recovering from the pandemic, this could not be more perfectly placed in our calendar to kick off the year, to have all eyes on Indianapolis again, and specifically with 1,000 national media descending on Indianapolis. They're going to be talking about the X's and O's, but also the host city amidst this backdrop of this major event that other cities would crave to have. And so that's very desirable for us. We know that a lot of these 100,000 fans are also C-suite executives. They wield the power to decide where meetings and conventions and offices could relocate. So it's not only the quantity of fans, it's the quality of fans that will be coming here to Indianapolis, in addition to that abnormal amount of national media coverage that will help boost the brand of Indy.
Yeah, I know this is ESPN's biggest production of the year, so all eyes on Indianapolis. And this is a big weekend for the convention business, too, because I know you're hosting some potential conventions at the game for this weekend to show how Indianapolis does its thing that could have big impact down the road.
Oh, we use each and every major sporting event as a backdrop to say, hey, come kick the tires, see what Indianapolis can do for a citywide event. And so we have 8 meeting decision makers from across the United States racing to Indianapolis. We'll host them for the weekend. They'll see the game. They'll see the city. They'll walk inside the convention center and see how the package and hotels are connected, no matter the climate. And if all of them say yes, it's $400 million in potential future convention business. So we're excited about that ripple effect, the tangential benefit of hosting this big weekend.
Yeah, how important, Chris, in your view, is the timing of this kind of impact event? Any time is going to have big impact. But with what Indianapolis and everybody else in the country has gone through for the past almost 2 years, what does it mean to have this event now in Indianapolis?
For those behind me that are working in the tourism industry that depend on tourism for a paycheck, this is much needed. It keeps our streak alive. It keeps our proof of concept alive that we can host live in-person events. In addition to that, you think about our recovery. We're at about 85% recovered right now, Gary. And so by the end of 2022, we anticipate, in large part because of this event sticking here with us at the beginning of the year, by the end of 2022, we'll be 100% recovered. When you look at hotel occupancy, a number of conventions, we'll be back to pre-pandemic levels. So the timing of this gives us confidence, it gives other event organizers confidence, and it gives Team Indy what it needs to start the year.
That indeed is big news in terms of getting back to pre-pandemic levels. Chris, as we wrap up, competition for these events, very, very intense, continues to be so. So this is a chance to put Indianapolis to the test again. And more events are out in the future. We've got an NBA All-Star game coming up, a rescheduled All-Star game that's coming up. So more events down the road.
Absolutely. It's again, this confidence builder and booster for sporting events and major trade shows and conventions. And so we look to this, and then we'll have to turn the page, Gary, quite frankly and quickly, and say what's next and how are we preparing. So another great way to start the year, and one that we've been planning for since 2017. All
right, Chris Gahl, Senior VP at Visit Indy. Chris, thanks for taking the time. A big weekend for Indianapolis and the state of Indiana. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Gary.
All right.